Hey there, have you heard about all the new feature releases and updates with OpenAI and ChatGPT? If you haven't, stick around because I'm going to show them to you now. First off, why am I wearing this Christmas sweater? For one, it's the holidays, it's Christmas time. But the other thing is, it is 12 days of OpenAI. Yep, just like 12 days of Christmas, OpenAI is giving us a bunch of goodies and feature releases over a 12-day period. Now, they've already released the first 6 days of it because we're on day 6, and we have 6 more to go. So in this video, I'm going to go over the first 6 days of the updates and show you what has been released. And then I'll do another video at the end of the 12 days to do the next 6 updates. So let's go ahead and dive in and let's take a look. As we see here, OpenAI's website, there's the 12 days of OpenAI. All right, so if we go all the way down here, we're going to see all of the new updates. First one, on day 1, you come here and you can watch the replays. They're about 10 to 20 minutes long. But day 1, the first thing that they released was their new Pro plan. So they have had the O1 preview. If you know, there was ChatGPT 4.0, and then they've had this O1 preview, another model that they've had, which is advanced reasoning. They've had that out for a while, but now when they released on day 1 here of the 12 days of OpenAI, what it is, they have released the actual full model of O1. So before it was O1 preview, which was their dumbed down version of O1, just as they were still kind of like in beta. But it was still working, getting a lot of great results. But now they've actually released the full version of it, O1. Plus, they've added another plan for O1 Pro. Now, you're really probably not going to use that unless you're a super heavy user of ChatGPT. So I actually haven't gotten on the O1 Pro yet. I don't think I will. I don't think I have a need for that. But I'm going to show you what that is anyways. This is a video that they explain, they show the differences. But let's go over into ChatGPT. Actually, here, if we go on this page, we can see introducing ChatGPT Pro. This gives some information on it. Now, one thing about it, if we go down to these graphs here, it does show how it's scored on certain aspects of, of their testing. We got competition math, we got competition code, and then we have PhD level science questions. If we look here, O1 scored on the 50th percentile, but then, O1 preview, then O1 scored in 78th, then O1 Pro scored up to 86. As we see these graphs go up. Now, they also did another set of tests. We use a stricter evaluation setting. A model is only considered to solve a question if it gets the answer right 4 out of 4 attempts. And so if we look at this, O1 preview, looks like it didn't get it all right every time. And then O1 Pro, but we see how much the model has jumped up. So these models are getting a lot more advanced and a lot better at advanced reasoning and problem solving. But now let's head over into ChatGPT and take a look at this. This is my ChatGPT, and if I go down here to the view plans, the difference is you have just the normal plus plan. So you have the free plan, but then if you're on the plus plan, like I am, it's $20 a month. That one you get everything in free, and you get what you probably, if you're already on it, what you've been getting, limited access to O1 and the O1 mini model. Then you get the advanced voice, which is a really cool feature that's actually now released on the desktop as well. And you get the custom GPTs, you get all that. But now on this Pro plan, which is pretty big jump, it's 10x, so $200 a month. You get the O1 Mini Pro, same as this, but you're also going to get access to the Pro mode, which is a lot higher reasoning, which I was just talking about. And you get unlimited voice chats and higher rate limits and unlimited access to O1 preview and 4.0. Whereas the current model, you get limited access. It's still a lot. I don't know if I've hit the O1 or the 4.0, like the limits for the day. But Pro plan, you're going to get unlimited access, so it should never throttle down how much you use it. Also, Sora was released as well a couple days later, and so that one now gives you, this one gives you a lot higher usage limits for Sora. And you also, I'll get into that later on in the video, but I think you also get higher output video quality. But anyways, that's the plans. Again, I don't really think you'll need $200 per month, especially probably if you're a viewer of my channel. You probably don't. But if you're a heavy user of it and you really need the really high level advanced thinking and reasoning, then you might want to go with the $200. But again, I don't think you really need it starting out here. So let's jump over here and take a look at the O1 and see what it does. Because in the past, when we were looking at O1, actually, let me go back here. Where was I at? Not in the plans. Shoot. Oh, you guys go back up here. Okay. So when we're in here, what it does is the O1 preview, if you use it at all, it would then, essentially what it is, it would think about its output before it actually gives you an output. So it would think about, how am I going to solve this problem? How am I going to go through and give an output? And then basically it's going to think about it and analyze against itself before it gives an output. And so what that does, because it's a lot more computing power, it did take longer. And so on the O1 preview, sometimes it would take 20 seconds, 40, even sometimes I've seen a minute before on some of these outputs. And that was a lot of times for any type. Even if you just said, hey, how are you doing today? It would take a long time to think about it, which is kind of weird. But now, and they showed in their video, what it's actually doing is, if it's a very simple prompt and using the O1 model, it's going to output a lot quicker because it realizes it doesn't need to think that long. In this case, this was a question I put in here, and this took 36 seconds to come up with the answer. The other thing is, if you click into this on here, you can then see what the actual thinking was as it was coming up with the answer. So it started with understanding the cube. Essentially what this question is, as you have a die on a table with the number 4 on top, and then you flip it upside down, then you rotate it. So it needs to understand the rotation of the die and where the numbers are going to be to know what's now facing up afterwards. Long story short, that's what this question's about. You can pause the video and read it here. But what it did here is said, understand the cube's interaction, then it tracing the die's orientation, aligning the die when it's flipped over, rearrange the die. So it's thinking about where are the dots moving every time it's rotated. Whereas if you're just using 4.0, it might just look at the last part of it and then just it might not give the correct answer. Although I will say, I was going through and doing some testing on some various questions, and for the most part now, 4.0 is producing the correct answer along with O1. I didn't really get it to produce a wrong answer. I think it's just the 4.0 model, just all the models are getting smarter and smarter now anyways. But what I would recommend using the O1 for, if you really want the advanced level of thinking and to give you kind of higher quality outputs. For example, I did a test here, and let me actually do this one. So pull these up here, and if we go up here, this one over here is GPT-4o, and this one is the O1. So this was a prompt I put in here. I'm considering launching a small consultancy specializing in workflow automation for marketing agencies. Come up with a strategy and like a 90-day strategy for this plan. If we look at 4.0, it gave a plan. So month 1, do this, and just give you some basic, define the niche, build a simple landing page. Okay, it's kind of generic, right? Month 2, discounted, conduct webinar, live workshops, gather testimonials. So it gave very generic answers in here. But if we look over here on O1, it actually gave more in-depth answers. And if we looked day 1 through 30, it spelled it out a little bit different, but it gave a little bit more information about each step and each tactic going. You get more information here. This would be really, if you want to come up with a really good strategy and you're giving a lot of input, a lot of information into the chat, and you want it to give you a good output thinking about it than just, blah, I would do this. So if you want it to more of, say, for planning, or if you're doing like coding, it does really great with coding as well. So you can code within ChatGPT. And then if you do the O1, it's going to actually write the code, but then look through it and make sure it works before it actually gives you an output. So most everyday use, you're probably going to use the 4.0 for just quick things. But if you need more higher level thinking to think against itself, then you want to do O1. But overall, you can actually start using, I'd say, O1 a lot more now, because the outputs are going to still actually a lot quicker. That was one of the biggest complaints that they actually had from a lot of the users, was O1 preview was taking so long. But again, I look at it as 45 seconds. You're really that much pressed for time that you can't wait 45 seconds for an output? I don't know. I didn't really understand that. But anyways, they made the model quicker. That's just another thing that they're working on, making their models faster and smarter. So this one actually only thought for a couple of seconds before it gave an output, which is actually a lot quicker. But yeah, it's faster, smarter, it's going to give you better outputs. So that's the O1 from their day 1. So now let's go over to day 2 and take a look at their next announcement. All right, now next on day 2 is their reinforcement fine-tuning research program. Really, I'm not going to cover a whole lot about this because one, I'm not fully sure on all of this, but what this one is, because it's more for really the developer side, the back end of OpenAI and their API. But essentially what it is, it's taking ChatGPT and OpenAI, these AIs, they have a lot of data in them already that they can tap into to give answers. But there's also so much other information out in the world that AI hasn't fully learned all yet. But then say you have a you have a program, you have colleges that are doing high level research, or some companies that have a lot of information and they want to feed it into essentially have their own kind of internal working AI. So what you can do is you can feed it a whole bunch of information and then you can train it on that information. So you can give it a task and then it'll give an output. And then what it's going to do is you can teach it by telling it, by giving it a score on its output. So if you know the actual answer, you can then grade its output. And if we actually look at some of, let's go over to the video here. This is an example of it's giving, so here, this 51-year-old woman has a disease and here's the symptoms. Instead of just a blanket information, here's what the answer is going to be. This asking something about genes here. What this does, but to show here on their graphic, the model will output essentially the type of genes that it thinks it's going to be based on these symptoms. And in this case, so the correct answer is FOXY3, but then it gave an output of KDM5A, FOXY3, BS. The FOXY3 was the second answer. So what you would do in this case, you would give it a specific score, and then it would then go and try to learn that and then give a better answer again, or later on down the road. So if we play this right here, so you have what the correct answer is, the grader, which would be URI, we would grade it on what its output was based on the input here, and they would get a score of 7. Then you would run it again with maybe a slightly different prompt, and you would grade it again. And so over time, it's going to learn what it's supposed to output, learns better. So essentially, long story short, from my understanding, what it's doing is taking all of your information that you have, and then you're training it and then teaching it. So if you have a dog, you want to teach it a new trick, instead of just or showing the dog what to do and expecting it to get it right 100% of the time, it's not. So every time you have the dog do this trick, you would then reward it with maybe the number of treats based on how well it performed. So if it performed perfectly, maybe give it 3 treats. If it performed sort of what the task was, maybe just give it 1 or 2. And so it reinforces that learning. Every time it gets 3 treats, no, that's exactly what I need to do. So you're training it based on giving it a grade on each of its output. So that's what this, my understanding, this reinforcement fine tuning is. Again, I think it's more for developers and really people building on the back end. So that's what I have for this one. Now let's move on to day number 3. And now day 3. Day 3 is one of the big ones that they announced because they've talked about this for a while, probably about the past year, but Sora is finally released. So Sora is their video creation from AI. Now Sora is accessible only on the paid plan for what I see. If we head over to the Sora website, actually let's go Sora.com. And then if you scroll down, you can see the pricing here. So go to the pricing. If you're on the paid plan of ChatGPT, the $20 version per month, then you get up to 50 priority videos. So you get 1,000 credits. And then the credits each come into play for creating videos. This comes out to about 50. It's also going to depend on the details you do in the video, how long you make it, the quality you want the output, the size, the aspect ratio, all that kind of plays into how many credits are used. You can do up to 720 resolution and max of a 5-second duration for your $20 per month plan. If you're on the pro plan, then you get up to 500 videos, 10,000 credits per month. It's unlimited relaxed videos. You get up to a 1080p resolution and 20 seconds duration and 5 concurrent generations. And you can also download it without watermarks. So that is the difference between the Plus plan and the Pro plan. But let's head over and see how you're going to access Sora. So if you head over to Sora.com, you're going to be, first, you're going to be brought over to, if you're not signed in, you're going to be brought to the sign-in page, and you're going to sign in using your current ChatGPT, your OpenAI login details. So you'll put your details in, you click sign in, then you'll be brought to this page here, which is going to be your dashboard, any type of videos that you created. Now, the cool thing is you can go up here to featured, and you can see all sorts of videos that people have created and posted on here. So you can get inspiration to go and create your own videos. And you can look at some of these. If you like this, you can click into it, and then you can see as the video is playing, you can see what the prompt is on how they generated it. And then you can even take these videos too if you want to add in your own spin on it or get ideas on this. And they have a couple really cool features down here, which is they have recut, so trim or extend the video in a new storyboard. You can remix it, which describes the changes and create a video based on this one. So basically take the prompt that's already in there and make your own tweaks to it to make your another video. And then you can blend, or you can blend two videos together. So you can take this one, you can create another one, and you can blend them both together, have a good transition. Or you can upload your own video that you already have on your computer and then do a transition between those two. Then loop, you can do that loop. So that's as a video plays forward and then it plays backwards. You can do that as well. And there's another little storyboard feature, which I'll cover briefly in here. But let's go back, click up here to get back to the home page. As I said, you can get inspiration from here. And now from here, you can just go and create your own video. So you can describe the video here. You can put a prompt in, broken down here at the bottom of the screen. And then you can choose the aspect ratio. Do you want it 16:9? Do you want it 1:1, 9:16? Choose that. You can choose the quality. So 480p, 720p, it's a little bit slower, of course, because it's going to be higher quality. And then the 1080p is going to be if you're on that $200 plan. So you choose quality here. Then you can choose how long you want it to be, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Again, only if you're on the higher plan, you can do more than 10 seconds, but that's the duration you can choose. And then how many variations do you want it to produce? 1 video, 2 video, or 4 videos. So then same thing as the images before. Produce a couple of them, then pick the one out that you want. So you set those, and this is going to dictate how many credits are used for whatever your settings are here. Obviously, the higher resolution is going to take up more credits, so then you'll get less per month. Now, there's this storyboard feature. So if you click on this, what this is going to do, it's going to bring you into, in a way, this little video editor. And you have the timeline down here. So this is currently set for 5 seconds. Again, you can set up your edits down here. But what this is, so you can put your prompt in here to create the video. Now you can also add in, so this will create a 5-second video, but if you want, like halfway through, you want it to actually transition a certain way. You want certain thing to happen. So one example that they gave, if we come over here into, this is their help doc. If we expand this out, this they're showing, let me go mute this scene here, if I can find it. So this here, we can see, this is the storyboard that they did. So the initial prompt says a red-crowned crane with a yellow tail stands in the stream with its head held high, looking around. The colors are pastel and are slightly reflection of the water in the stream. So this will produce a video of a crane basically probably just sitting there in the stream looking around. But then maybe you want about halfway through, you want it to, in this case, dip the crane's head into the water. So you can control how the video is created instead of having a big long prompt. Because this, if you say dips head in the water, it might immediately do it, or it might do it at the end of the scene. But maybe you want it at a specific time, and that's why you can control it with these scenes. If we head back over here, and you can add different scenes in here. So then maybe this, I want the crane to dip its head in the water. But then down here, I want it to then look up at the sky. So then you can create that video how you want it to look. Head back here, discard edits for this. And if we go back to all videos, the ones that I've done so far, I've done a couple so far. So I like rock climbing. So I chose one on the featured list that I saw, one of a panda rock climbing. I thought it was cool. And so I played around with this a little bit. What I did on this one, I used the storyboard. And if we look at the edit the story, so it talks about here, panda standing in an indoor rock gym, getting ready to climb the walls. The scene is illuminated with bright lights and colorful holds on the rock face. And then what I added in here is the panda begins to climb, carefully placing its paws. Actually, this was probably already in there, I think, on the colorful holds. And then I added this last scene down at the end here, and I put the panda then smiles with joy, looking into the camera as he completes the route. So I wanted to end with him looking into the camera. If we look over this, he jumps over here, and now he's looking into the camera as he finishes it. Can't really see a smile, but yeah, you can see it from his face. So that is how this one was created. And then I do have, so if we look at this one over here, this was actually a blended video. So I took the original one of him just climbing on this wall over here. So this is the original video. He was just climbing on the wall. And then if I go back and I look at the second one, I created this one separately, which was, I wanted him climbing outdoors. I didn't really get him outdoors, but close enough. It's more like an outdoor rock face. And then what I did was I combined the two. And so it did this transition without him jumping from one rock face over to the other. What I wanted it to do was do a scene transition, then all of a sudden he's outside. But it didn't quite get what I was trying to do. That's fine. I didn't play around with it a whole lot, but as we can see how it transitions over to another scene. And then if we look down here, this is one of the loop videos. So if I go ahead and click on, say, this one, see how so he's climbing over and the loop is climbs back. So you see those a lot of times on Instagram, the video, it plays and then it plays back, plays and it plays back. So that's what the loop feature is. And one more thing, if we come back in here, as we see in the videos down at the bottom here, this is that watermark they're talking about. So it has the OpenAI logo on the bottom. That's the watermark if you're on the $20 plan. Get the $200 plan, then you can have it without the watermark. Cool. But actually, in my opinion, it's a small watermark, so it's not covering like the whole thing like some video editors are. They'll put a big watermark over it. This is just in the corner, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. But yeah, that's Sora, so that's pretty cool. You have some filters up here, so you can filter how you look at your videos that you created. You have your layout here, so you have the list view, you have the grid view, different ways to look at your videos that you created. And in my opinion, I think this release, it was a pretty cool one. Yeah, there's a lot of other AI videos out there, but what AI is doing, what they started with, is pretty cool features, and you have more control over. I thought it was going to be a prompt. Hey, put the prompt in and get your video. But you actually can control how many variations, the time, the resolution, and then the aspect ratio. They also have some of these presets in here, which are different types of presets that you can set up. Basically, it's a deeper prompt in the background. So if you want stop motion, if you want whatever Balloon World is, film noir, but then this is going to add into the video that you're creating to make it that style of video. So that's Sora in a nutshell. Go ahead and start playing around with that. If you look at some of these featured videos, there's some that are pretty good. It's pretty amazing what it can produce now. And we're just on the cusp of what AI is going to be producing out in the world. So anyways, that's day 3 of Sora. Let's move on to day 4 and see what else they have. And now we're getting to day 4, which day 4, they covered Canvas. So Canvas is actually pretty cool. If you've seen it or not, it's actually a way of, you have your chat in ChatGPT, but then on the side, you can have a document. You can edit the document live instead of having ChatGPT rewrite the whole document. Let me just explain it to you and show you, or let me just demo it to you and show you. So first off, let's just head over to ChatGPT. And now we have here, but one thing that they've added in, when you clicked up here, you used to be able to switch between the models, and there was the model of model of O1 with preview, or 4.0 with preview, but now it's not here anymore. And what they did, they've actually moved it down here, and this is pretty cool. There's a view tools area. So this, when you click on it, you can select if you want to create images, and then so using Dolly. So then this will actually know you're wanting to create an image. You can search the web. You can use the O1 advanced reasoning, or down here you have the collaborate with writing and code for Canvas. So if we were to take this one, and if I were to just paste in, put in a simple prompt in here, and let's go with this same theme in this video, write a short 500-word blog article, get the right wording there, doesn't really matter, AI will still pick it up, but write a blog article on the origin of ugly sweaters and how they came to be a popular theme for Christmas parties. So let's just start with that and see what it comes up with. So if we go ahead and submit the prompt, as you see, this pop-up happens here, and what it's doing now is it's writing it over here on the right side, and then you have your chat over here on the left. So this, as this is finishing here, what this allows you to do is I can come in and I can edit this document without affecting, or without having to scroll through and find the whole chat thread. And also, if you wrote this in a regular chat thread, not using the canvas, if you wanted to say, I wanted to change from tacky to trendy, change that up. If you tell it in the prompt to change up this paragraph or edit it, what it's going to do, it's actually going to rewrite the entire thing. Unless you said, just write this, but then you have to take this paragraph, then put it in a document or connect this. It can get hectic that way. So what you can do now is you can come in here and you can actually, for example, this one, maybe we don't really like this paragraph, so you can highlight it and you can ask ChatGPT. Well, actually, before we do that, let's go back up to here. And as I'm going through here, maybe I look at this and say, but how did ugly sweaters evolve from cringe-worthy gifts to iconic seasonal wear? Maybe I want to change this up. How did ugly sweaters evolve from, the super cringe-worthy gifts to iconic seasonal wear? So you can edit within the document here, and it doesn't affect the rest of the document in a way. As opposed to, like I said, if you had to write over here and then have to rewrite everything. And now what we can do is say I want to take this paragraph and okay, so this, yeah, it sounds good, but maybe I want to ask it a question here. So I click on this, I can ask, please simplify and explain this to me. So if I do that, it's not actually going to rewrite that. It's just going to answer what this paragraph is about. And so there's going to be more details on that. Other things you can do is maybe you want to come in here and maybe this is too long. So you can click over here and you can click on this button. Going to be essentially the same thing, but maybe you want to shorten this up. And now what it's going to do is it's going to just rewrite this paragraph. You see now it wrote it shorter, where I still had all the other context of the document still in here. So that's that. You can also come down here and you can chat with it as well. You can ask other questions, explain more about it, shorten it up. You can do several things with this document editor, which is pretty cool. Now, there's also this tool down here. Actually, let me get rid of this. Come on. Oh, for now. So get rid of that. Okay, that was my Grammarly. But now with this tool down here, you have a couple different options. Add emojis. Maybe you want to add emojis into this. So if I click on here, you can add it into sections, maybe lists, or remove emojis. Let's put it onto the words. So we click this. Now it's going to add emojis into this document. So it's not going to change it up. It's just going to start adding emojis in. Pretty cool feature. Let's go ahead and finish, and it will speed up the video for here. All right, so that finished up, and that's actually a lot of emojis. I'm surprised to put that many in. That's a little too much. So we can come in here, and then we can, let's see what happens if we do just the sections. Okay, so that didn't really do what I wanted to do because it still kept all the emojis in. So for example, if I were to come back in here, let's go back, just do this one more time. Let's remove the emojis. So it should just remove all the emojis from the document and just have, so there we go. It removed them all. And now it would come back in and just do the sections. And what that would do is the roots of ugly sweaters. It would put emoji in there. From tacky to trendy, it'd put emoji in there. So that's what that would do. And I'll go ahead and speed this video up so we can see how that looks. So I'm gonna do the sections one here. Let's see how that looks. There we go. That looks a heck of a lot better. There's not as many before. I was just way overloaded on that other one. I don't know why I did that. But if we come in here, there's other options here which are pretty cool. So there's adjust reading level. Okay, in this one, maybe you can adjust the reading level. So you can raise it up. Maybe you want it higher level reading. So like graduate level, college level, high school. Or maybe you want to reduce it down, middle school, kindergarten. You want to simplify it so that if you're writing a research paper, if you're just writing a story, you want it to be maybe simplified, easier for people to understand. Or you want it to sound more sophisticated, you can increase the reading level. So there's that. You can also down here adjust the length. So if I want to make it longer, if I want to make it shorter, if I make it say shorter down here, it'll take the whole thing and it's going to shorten it up and make it a lot of a shorter document. So you don't have maybe go from 1,000-word blog article down to maybe just 500 or 500 down to 200. You probably could ask it in here for a specific word number, but here it just made it simplified. Now, once you've done all that, you've chatted with it, you've created this great blog article, you put the emojis in, you've added whatever you wanted to add, adjust reading level, length. Now you can come over here and you can put a final polish on. So if we look, there's no title and it's not really blog worthy postable. So what you can do is you can go over to the add final polish and then you can polish it up. So what this is doing, it added a title in there, and if the titles weren't bolded before, it would bold them. It would make it pretty much ready, copy and paste, so that you can get right into just taking this document without having to go to say Google Docs or any other document to actually edit it and post it. You can just edit it right from it in ChatGPT here. Now here's another cool thing you can do. If we go over to the chat on the side here, I'm going to say, please review it. So I put in here, please review it and annotate any suggestions you have to make it better. So if I go ahead and do that, of course, probably come up with a better prompt than that, but just something simple for now. As you see, it's going through and it's highlighting certain parts of it. And it has little notes over here. For example, this one, once dismissed as unattractive, ugly sweaters have become a cherished part of Christmas celebrations, embodying holiday cheer and lighthearted fun. So what does it say about it? Consider adding a brief mention of how they became a global phenomenon to set the stage for the section that apply. Oh, interesting. Maybe I like that. So maybe I'll just click apply here. And now it's going to actually add in that edit right into here. So there, it rewrote that and gave some more detail on it. This one down here, ugly sweaters originated in the 1950s during the post-war boom. You could explain slightly on why the post-war era contributed to the rise of the festive garments for more historical content. You know, maybe I don't need that in here, so I can just X this out, and now it's not going to edit that. This is really cool how you can have it go through and analyze against itself to give you suggestions on how you can make this document better. So that's the canvas in a nutshell. But another thing that you can do, let me just take this. I'm going to take all of this for now. We're going to go back to a new chat, because the other thing that they do have now, say I had a document somewhere else, but I'm going to just take this because I already have this copied. If I put this in here, so say it's a big long prompt, kind of hard to see and read through this. What you can do is you can click on this button now, which is open in Canvas. So again, we haven't started with the chatting part of ChatGPT. What we're still doing is we're just essentially editing our prompt. It's an easier way to look through our whole prompt and see what we're doing. So then in here, I can come in and maybe I don't want this. Maybe I want to bold this. So that might emphasize a little bit more. I can go through and write this, rewrite it, instead of maybe saying, however, I don't need that, maybe just that. So now once I've done my editing in here on just, this is before starting, what I can do is now I can come over here and start my prompt. And maybe I add a prompt in that says, please shorten this up. And so now it's going to rewrite it and shorten it up. Now, probably if you add in a bunch of other information, like a super long prompt, instead of this way, I just started with a blog post, but you can put in a bunch of information, then you can start basically, as I said, jumping right into the canvas right off the bat, instead of having to give it a prompt and then have it produce your output and then open up in the canvas. You can start right in the canvas from the beginning. So that's pretty cool. A lot of cool features that AI has released for this canvas part. So this will really help people with their writing and getting more content out there. So with that being said, let's move on to the next day. All right, now we're getting into day 5. What I'm actually going to do is kind of combine it with day 6 because there's a lot of similarities between the two. But day 5 was the announcement of Apple Intelligence. So we've seen that in iOS 18 and macOS Sequoia that came out about 2 months ago. It was the big announcement. There's going to be the Apple Intelligence, ChatGPT, all built into all the AI Apple devices, but it was actually in beta, and so it's a teaser. But now they've actually released it, and so if you update any of your Mac devices, your Apple, your iPhone, your iPad, you will then have the Apple Intelligence built in to your devices now. And so what you can do, in fact, Apple Intelligence, that can be a whole separate video in itself. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to head over to Apple's website here. We're going to cover a couple of the features that they have that came out with Apple Intelligence. So if we scroll through here, this is going to show a lot of how you can do a lot of editing and rewording of text within apps on your phone, iPad, and iPhone. So I'm going to scroll down here. And so if you're in say writing an email, writing a text message, writing in the notes, you can then highlight it all and you can say simplify it, make it more professional. You have different options of rewriting it or basically just editing your own writing. So you can do that instead of having to say copy everything, go over to ChatGPT, ask for the changes, then come back and paste it in. You can just do that all right within the iPhone now. Another thing that they have here is they're going to have your notifications on the front of your phone. They're going to summarize them. So if you have a bunch of text messages that come in, instead of having to scroll through all the text messages, you can just look at the summary of what they're all about, and it's going to recognize what's important. So for example, you need to go pick up, say, your son or daughter from daycare. Well, that's going to highlight on top because they're going to say that's the important one. And so it's going to say that and explain what the other ones are about. So it's going to summarize your notifications a lot better so you don't have to dig through all the notifications and see what it actually is. Now we scroll down here in the notes where you say drew something out. You can then circle it and you can highlight it and you can have it create an image or an image from AI creating the image. You can take that from graphics or different notes or whatever you have on your phone. You can then get it to circle it and create image out of it. That also comes into, you can create your own image generator right within the Apple devices. And what this shows here is you can choose some of the preset suggestions that they have. And then if we see over here, for example, this person selected themselves from their Memoji on the phone, chose the space one, and they chose the astronaut. And then when they click generate, then it created a combination of all those. They can also add in more of a prompt in here as well to combine that with some of the presets they have. So it's pretty cool. You can create a bunch of little stickers and images that you can use in your messages and just right within Apple the Apple devices. Now if we scroll down here, Siri is getting a whole revamp. So before, Siri was always very kind of basic, ask it some basic questions, but now it's actually going to be able to look through your device, which in a way it's going to be scary that it can look through your whole device, but it's the world we live in now. So you can look through your device and you can ask it things on, oh, I'm planning, this friend asked me, maybe somebody sent you a message, hey, let's go hiking tomorrow at 2:00. You can say, hey, you can say, Siri, am I able to do this hike tomorrow at 2:00? And what it'll do, it'll actually look at your calendar and it'll say, no, you have an event at this time. You won't be able to make it back in time because the drive is going to be 45 minutes. And so it'll actually look at all that and it can give you that as a response, which that's actually pretty freaking cool to help you really streamline your work process and just get things done easier throughout the day. Now, the other thing that you can do is if you ask a question on one of your Apple devices and you ask it and it looks up on ChatGPT. So it does connect to ChatGPT. If we come back over to this one, and I'll just play this real quick. Of course, it doesn't show here, so I'll just mute this. Right. But what it is, when you first set it up, what it's going to do, so when you first set it up on your phone, it has access to ChatGPT. Now, you don't necessarily have to sign into your ChatGPT account. You can. It'll be more like a simplified version. But if you do connect to your ChatGPT account, then it will be able to get more information. And also what it's going to do, if you ask, say, Siri a question, it's going to give you a response. But if Siri determines, hey, I need to search more on the internet to get more of information that you need, it will actually ask you, it'll ask you, do you want to search the internet? Do you want to expand out? And the reason that comes into play is if we go down to the security section, this talks about the security. In one of their keynotes, it shows it has like its own internal AI kind of within your phone. So it doesn't go out to anywhere else. So their companies aren't getting your data. But then if it needs to tap into the bigger model of ChatGPT, then you would say yes. And then that's when it would expand out and actually go to OpenAI and get the information. So you have control of whether you want the device to actually go out to the internet and get that information or not. So some people worry about privacy on that, which is definitely a concern. And so Apple has built the privacy in to give you greater control. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bring over the Notes app here just to give you a quick demo. So you can do it in Messages, you can do it in Notes, you can do it pretty much in most apps on your Apple device. But again, I took that same blog that we did earlier in this video, and if I were to say highlight this whole section here, now what we're going to see, if I highlight this, now you see over here there's the Apple Intelligence symbol. So if I click on this, from here, now I can say rewrite this. I can make it more friendly and more professional. I can get the key points. Let's see if we do and make this more of a friendly. Go write it, thinking about it, rewriting it, and there. So it rewrote it. If I like that, great. I can then keep it or I can revert it back to the original. So if I click done, now I have that rewritten there. So you can go into your messages, you can go into your email, you can type a message real quick, get all your brain dump your thoughts out, highlight it, now make this more professional for my boss, whatever it is, or make it more friendly because I'm sending it to a friend, and then it will rewrite it. Basically make your process a lot simpler than having to go to ChatGPT, go to Claude, go to any of these other AIs, paste it in there, and then come back and paste it. You have it all right in your Apple devices. Now the next thing, which moves on to if we go back to day 5 and 6, so day 6 is advanced voice with video. Then they got this bonus Santa mode, kind of funny. But what we had on the phone and just recently came to the computer, to the desktop app, was the advanced voice, where you can then talk with ChatGPT, and it's a lot more human-like. You can have her or him talk in a different tone, faster, slower, in different accent, different languages. Whereas the original voice, you weren't able to do that. It was just kind of a conversation back and forth. Plus, you can actually interrupt them. So I say it's explaining something to you. You can say, whoa, wait, actually, can you explain more in depth about what you were just talking about? That's what the advanced voice is. But now what they've added in, that was just voice. Now they've actually added in video. So you can now use the video to interact with ChatGPT. So not only can it hear, now it has vision. And so that, as I said, that comes into play with the Apple Intelligence because that's built in with the Apple devices. But now with just the ChatGPT app on your phone, you have the vision. So let me go ahead and give you a quick demo here. I'll bring over, we'll put my iPhone right here. So in here we have my phone here. So this way we can also still see my video as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on the icon down the bottom here that's gonna start the advanced voice. And then there'll be another icon over here, which will be the video. So I'll start that and then we're gonna have a little chat here. So let's go ahead and do this. Hey there, how's it going? So I'm testing out this new feature. Can you go ahead and tell me what you see in this picture here and tell me what's going on?
Sure. I see you wearing a festive sweater and speaking in what looks like a home office or recording setup. There are some books and a framed picture on the shelves behind you. It looks like you might be recording a video or testing your camera setup. Everything seems to be working well.
Great, yeah. Can you tell me what picture or what books do you see in the background?
Sure. Behind you, I can see a few books on the shelves. It looks like you have the YouTube formula and Profit First. There's also a framed picture that says Imagine. The setup looks motivational and well organized.
Great, thank you. All right. So as you can see, that was ChatGPT with the vision, and you can see it saw what was going on in the background. Now here's the other cool feature. I'm going to show you this here. So this was the Santa thing. So I'm going to start a new chat, but this time I'm going to, if I start a new chat and then the bottom, let me just mute it real quick. In the top,
Hey, Aaron, how's it going? Anything on your mind today?
okay, so in the top right corner, there's this little button here. When we tap on that, now we can change the voice. And I shift over, there's Santa here. So we'll start a new chat. Hey there, Santa. How's it going? It's December now. It's getting close to Christmas. So how's the packaging going and how are the elves doing there? Are they getting all the gifts ready for the kids?
Oh, oh, oh. Hello there. It's wonderful to see you. You look quite festive in that holiday sweater. It's sure to bring lots of cheer. How are you feeling about the upcoming holidays? Are you excited for Christmas?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty great. But how would you rate my sweater? What would you talk about it?
Eating. Your sweater is absolutely delightful. It's got such a fun and festive design, and the colors are perfect for this time of year. It looks like you're ready to spread some holiday cheer. I'd give it.
So as you can see, that is ChatGPT Vision, and now it can hear you, it can see you, and so that is the big announcement for OpenAI and ChatGPT. Went through all 6 days, so hopefully you got some value out of this, and you see the new features, and you got to start testing them out and using them. And so after this, now I will see you when they finish the 6 days, and then we'll do another video with the next 6 features, and we'll have a recap here. So with that being said, have a wonderful day, and I will see you on my next video.